Hello and welcome back to Rappahannock Issues. I'm David Kerr, and today we're talking about the Wounded Warrior Cyber Combat Academy. This is a privately funded initiative to help wounded warriors, wounded veterans, find a place in the IT workforce, defending our country, defending our industry against cyber attack. And it's entirely funded by private industry. We were just talking about some of the aspects of the training that goes into that preparation. And what I wanted to just ask you, can you tell me about some examples, or just give me a couple of examples of some folks you've known who've gone through the program and just how it changed them? This is all about people. It's not about IT.
Yeah. So Wendy will probably better served to answer this.
Well, and this is where I start to cry. So
This is pretty heavy stuff. So
it is extremely heavy stuff, and when I started getting involved with Jim and Sam, and they're like, yeah, we're training these guys, and they're getting their certifications, and it's, and what's wonderful about the program is we're able to utilize something that's offered by the federal government called Operation Warfighter. So if these wounded warriors have not separated from the service, they're in the middle of their rehabilitation, the government, through Operation Warfighter, provides some internships. So we've been able to leverage those internships to get them work experience while they're training, while they're getting the training and while they're recovering. So it allows them an opportunity to get involved in the cyber industry. For example, we had 2 at the National Cyber Center of Excellence. We had 1 with the Marine Corps Cyber White Team. We had an intern with the Department of State.
NASA. Yep.
NASA. And so that is one of the successes, that we were able to get them into these internships. But then beyond that, over the last 2 years, we have all of Cyber Team 1 employed?
I think only 1 or 2 are left, but they're interviewing and they're trying to decide where they want to work. So it's a lot of fun to watch.
And that's out of usually a class of about 20?
20,
yeah. Very good.
But one of our biggest successes is Marcus. And we had invited General Alexander, so the former head of U.S. Cyber Command. He was gracious enough to come down to Stafford at the Globe and Laurel to host our first fundraiser. And he came down, he met Marcus. Marcus is a double amputee, 25 years old now, 4 children. And yes, great guy. Met General Alexander, and now he's working for General Alexander. So we are extremely excited about that. And General Alexander has been gracious enough to stay involved with the program and continue to support us as much as he can. But one of the greatest benefits of this program that I always tell Jim and Sam to focus on, which is not necessarily job related, but we've had 4 of our wounded warriors have children within the first year of the program. And if you think about the fact that we have 21 suicides every day with and this is where I start to cry, and these gentlemen who have seen some of the worst, I mean, they've suffered amputees, they've suffered extremely debilitating physical injuries, and now they have hope for their future, they have hope for their family, and they're bringing new life into this world. I would say that is the biggest success of our program, and we're very excited about it. But from a metric perspective, Jim can talk about how many people we have, gotten, jobs, internships, better jobs. It's really quite impressive.
Yeah, so we've, I'm a little bit more of the, I don't want to use the word pragmatic, but I'm a little bit more of the kind of focused on the end game of getting these guys jobs, right? All of those intangibles are important, right? And again, Wendy came to us initially when we started looking at the data and said, you don't understand what this means. And I said, no, I don't. I want to see how many jobs they got, how many certifications they earned. So yeah, but there's a bigger narrative there, obviously, within the hope and the aspiration and the confidence of the warrior population. And so we've seen this tremendous kind of retooling, if you will, of all of these guys. And every week, so we were just at a big conference here in the Washington, D.C. area called the Gartner Conference, and we had a whole bunch of different companies come up to us, and so we collected all these resumes, and the business cards, and we started sending out all their resumes, and all of a sudden, our warriors are calling us, going, "Oh my God, these people are interviewing me, and these people are offering me a job, and these people are offering me a job," and so I can't even keep up, to be honest with you, how many, but it's real meaningful. It's really nice to see when Marcus gets the job, and Josh Lopez gets the job, and And then you realize that these guys they're able to continue, and really the end of the day, they're able to continue to serve their country. That's what they signed on for. And unfortunately, circumstance dealt them a hand that they didn't want, and so, but now they're able to continue to serve, and they move into a different domain, if you will, in terms of the cyber dimension.
Let's understand that probably people moving into private sector jobs, but sometimes you have folks who stay in the military and continue to serve, but shifting their MOS or their expertise to.
Have you had that experience?
I just saw a reference that was certainly not an option for some people.
Yeah, we have, I know Josh Lopez, a couple of them were looking at it. A couple of them have tried to stay in even afterwards, but the challenge is based on their medical disabilities. In a lot of cases, it's not an option. They're medically discharged honorably, obviously, but, and so then they're kind of forced to have to look elsewhere.
Usually not a practical option.
Yeah, but a lot of them have gone to like work either at federal agencies, so some of them have decided to stay within the government sector, right? And other ones have moved into the private sector, working for either government contracting companies. One of the nice things about our program is we aligned it to a lot of the industry certifications that are in so high demand. So what we've really done, and Wendy really kind of alluded to this, their resumes now, when people look at them, are like, oh my God, I want these guys, because they have half a dozen to a dozen industry certifications. In many cases, they have that internship component that Wendy talked about, and then they've got their military experience. And so somebody looking at that says, oh my God, this is a perfect candidate. Mm-hmm. They're looking for an entry-level position. We've got a bunch of them. We have a need for it. And so we find that we start sending out their resumes, and these guys start getting phone calls left and right. And they're calling me going, well, which one should I go with? Should I go with this company? Should I go with that company? And I say, well, it depends on really, do you want to work within a big organization, or do you want to work within a smaller organization? Ultimately, what are your personal career? Where do you want to live? So there's a lot of different aspects and a lot of different nuances to the program, which I didn't anticipate or didn't expect.
We're coming to the end of our show, and I wanted to ask one question about this program. It's obviously the Washington area is an excellent place to focus. We have some major medical centers, Walter Reed and Bethesda, a large federal workforce, and that's a good placement opportunity with all the contractors. Have you thought about expanding beyond this? Because I was thinking this morning when we were talking about the show, Norfolk, SimWorks, smaller scale, but similar. West Coast, same thing.
Right.
And some areas up near Bremerton, Washington. Before we close out, have you talked to anybody about going beyond the Washington area?
We have. Our biggest challenge right now is funding. Right? So there are certain scalability issues that we continue to run into. We've engaged a lot of different corporate sponsors and help, but we continue to have a need for more. We have about 60 people on the wait list right now we can't get to because we need funding.
That'll be a while in coming.
So if I could just make one final thing. If anybody's interested, you can go out to our website. It's w2cca.org. That's w2cca.org. And it's a 501c3, so it's fully tax deductible. If anybody's interested, we're ultimately looking for help, and any kind of help is much appreciated. $5, $10.
I really appreciate both of you being on the show today. It was very informative, very moving. All the best in your work.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for joining us on Rapid Hacking.